Sorry, my computer is lagging because I have so many things pulled up, so give me just a second. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay. So welcome to the school sector meeting of the KCPA plan. We'll start today with introductions, and then just a reminder about implementation applications. We could probably actually push that um, below the collaboration potential new projects. Um, and then we're going to do group updates. And then if there's any updates your organization wants to give us, we'll talk about that. And then just a reminder about our next upcoming meeting, which is in January. Sound good? Okay. Christine, as you are the sector lead, I'm going to have you introduce yourself first.
Sure. I'm Christine Scherenberg, and I support physical education teachers in Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools, and also serve as the sector lead for the school sector. And I thought too, when you introduce yourself, you could share one tradition for the holiday that you've already done, if you have one, or one that you're looking forward to. And for my family, we go out and kind of hunt down a Christmas tree. So we've done that. We did that last weekend. There's always like it's always like a sibling thing going on with the kids, but no tears this time. So, and I will pick Kelly.
Hello, everyone. My name's Kelly Clay. I work with Katie at Children's Mercy and help support the school sector. I look forward to every year, my family, my large extended family, we have a caroling party. So it's like 100 people walking around singing at people's houses. So it's a really good time and I'm looking forward to that. Katie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. As Kelly said, I'm Katie Amy, and I'm part of the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. It's a program at Children's Mercy. I was supporting the school sector, but starting next year, Kelly is taking over. I'll still attend meetings to help out. But yeah, it's nice to meet everyone. Sorry, I was trying to think of holiday traditions. I'm terrible. I really don't have any I stick to consistently. I used to bake Christmas cookies with my grandma every year, but it hasn't happened this year. So just because of time, but I'm going to say that's probably my favorite and a tradition I'd like to continue doing if possible. Um, I will go ahead and popcorn to our lovely people at Bike Walk KC. I don't know if Nolan or Kat, who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Hi guys, I'm Nolan Orkey. I'm the education program manager here at Bike Walk KC. I'm kind of like Katie, I don't have a lot of traditions, but I think one that I kind of am more consistent with is, spending time with my family when we watch holiday movies. We kind of started around Thanksgiving and kind of trickles into Christmas. So that's something that we like to do.
I'm Catherine Murray. I'm the education outreach coordinator at Bike Walk. Gosh. So far, all we've done is decorate our Christmas tree. So I'm going to say that one. It's fun to get our old ornaments out and remember travels and things like that we have on our tree. So.
And
everybody's
Sorry,
popcorn.
Yeah, well, sorry, popcorn. Is it Lene? Am I saying that right?
Lene, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So my name is Lene, and I have founded an organization called Athvantage for Athletic Advantage, which we exist to utilize the power of sports to increase equity in student health and college access. And I'll get to more like the details of that a little later. But so what we do every year is on Thanksgiving, well, the day after Thanksgiving, on Black Friday, we're all like super exhausted. And there's so much food in the house that we stay home and we watch Christmas movies all day long. So I've already watched all the Home Alones and several poorly written but well executed Netflix Christmas movies. Yeah.
I'm really curious as to which Netflix ones you have watched because
Oh,
I've been going through that list.
all of them. I'm trying to think of my favorite one is it's called Holiday is my favorite one. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's hilarious. Um I'd have to like be on Netflix, but I've literally watched all of them. The new one with what's the young lady from Parent Trap?
Oh, Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, the new one with Lindsay Lohan is really pretty good. Um
Is it
there's
like, does it have lie in the title? I feel like I just watched a holiday one with her. It's like Little Lie or something.
It's
that
like a
one's
secret something.
a secret
Yeah.
secret something. That one was good. I watch them all. So
Love it.
Fun.
Well, this is a good leeway into having you discuss with us kind of what you do. I guess maybe, sorry, I think maybe I will start with implementation applications, just so
okay.
you yeah, because I want you to know like um how we could potentially help. So we have funding through the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. And each of our sector groups has a certain amount allocated. It started off as $15,000, but we've used that in the school sector. So we are down to, Kelly, do you know how much we have left in the school sector? By chance?
Not off the top of my head, but I can go find that.
I think
Yeah,
it's like
4,000.
4,400,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Somewhere around that. And the thing is with these implementation applications, it's open to any of our partner organizations to apply for funding to fulfill a project of theirs that aligns with our sector strategies and tactics. So the other thing is if this project aligns with more than one sector, so if it aligns with more than the school sector strategies, like sports is a good example, it could be Parks and Rec, healthcare, you can ask for funding from multiple sector groups. So some of our sectors have more funding than our schools right now. Like healthcare has 6,000. I know public health has like 8,000, a little over 8,000 left. Just so you know
Sure.
kind of how this works. And I think that I won't overwhelm you with information. That's kind of where we're at. So when Natalie, she mentioned that Bill knew you, had brought this to our attention that you potentially have an idea that we could maybe help with. And it doesn't have to, if you're not looking for funds and just more like a work group to help, we're also kind of that as well, and we can help provide connections. So we wanted to meet, kind of know what you're looking for, what are you doing right now in schools? Yep, I will
Can you give
hand it
me
off to
1
you.
second? I am
Yeah.
so sorry, but the doorbell just rang and I'm the only person here. Give me
That
2
is-
seconds.
Yeah, you're good.
Kind of stuff always happens, right? Always
Yeah,
happens right when I get in meetings, so.
it happens to me so often. I hate it because my dog, she's like a nightmare. She attacks the door, and all I can hear is like barking and yipping, and I have to go on mute, turn off my camera. It gets really bad. Oh.
I am back.
Okay, fantastic.
Worst timing ever.
It happens.
Okay. Sure. So I am looking for funding. Our organization is very new. We are a part of the sports sector. And so I've been meeting people, and through the work that we've been doing in the community, that's how I got connected to Bill. And he's been so helpful and instrumental in just helping us get things off the ground. But where we are right now is this organization was started as a I saw a need. So I went, I'm so sorry, I'm winded and that threw me off. So last year, my son, he goes to Lincoln College Preparatory Academy, and the Kansas City Public Schools is just under-resourced. I'm sure you all know that, just like KCK Public Schools. So I'm sitting at his football game, and two other high schools in the district had to combine their teams because they didn't have enough student interest to have individual teams. And that caused a lot of logistical problems. They didn't have funding. Like, these kids didn't even have the right uniforms and material. They didn't know how to line up. And it broke like, it broke my heart. We're talking about children who already don't really have a lot of interest in participating in their education. And to me, sports is so motivating. You have to have the grades to play. It's a reason to come to school. It's so much of what makes school enjoyable for these kids. It's healthy lifestyles, it's college access, it's all these things. And here I am looking at the deterioration of sports programs in this public school system. And I'm thinking, like, of all the things that these kids don't get and don't have, we cannot let them not have the opportunity to play sports. Like, there's so much research around college persistence and school grade attendance and grades and healthy long-term health outcomes for these kids. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, somebody has to do something about this. So I began to research, like school funding and what are the politics around this. And as a parent, I don't know if any of you all have school-age children, but AAU sports is astronomically expensive. To play any sport, it's thousands of dollars to participate if you talk about travel, monthly fees, and things like that. And so I'm like, if they can't play at school, then they're not playing sports. Rec leagues aren't credible as credible as they used to be, and they're just not even as available as they used to be. And so I did all this research, come to find out that the KC Physical Activity Coalition was already working with the Aspen Institute, where I was getting most of my research from. And I think the month that I filed my paperwork for this organization, they published that report. And I was like, great, now I have data to take to people and say, hey, this is a real problem, not just in America, but in Kansas City. And so some of the things that I found is that kids are practicing in facilities without air conditioning in the summertime. They don't have sports equipment. I've seen children share jerseys during games. So, like, one kid goes and plays soccer and he comes out and he takes off a sweaty jersey and passes it to another child. I've seen children play without uniforms at all in white t-shirts. I've seen sports facilities without bathrooms, and in lieu of bathrooms, they have porta potties. And this is not happening in Johnson County. And if it was me, it says a lot about a person's value. And also, one of the things that came out in that report is that Black and brown and low income students aren't having the same quality of sports opportunities when they do participate. They're twice as likely to say that, no, this wasn't fun. This wasn't even fun to me. And I can only imagine why. And then even at Lincoln, where it's a high resource school within the public schools, I'm currently supporting the girls basketball team. They don't have basketballs. So, I mean, we're not talking about, like, life-changing things, although, and I know you all get it, but I just like to frame it with some context on why I believe this works, because what I'm trying to do is establish a proof of concept. But Under Armour invested like $5 million into the Baltimore school district. All they did was give them new facilities. They updated some facilities with lights, and then they outfitted them in uniforms and, bags and things that made them feel proud to be on the team. They saw graduation rates for 4-year participation shoot up from 60% to 98%. like this does work. Kids care about sports. It's good for their bodies. It's a pathway to college access. Not even if you don't get a D1 scholarship, in order to be an athlete, you have to be on target academically. You have to be present and you have to meet the graduation requirements to continue to do that. So that's where my passion and my belief come from. And so what I'm doing now is I'm partnering with the girls basketball team at Lincoln College Prep, not because they're the most needy school in the school district, but I wanted to start somewhere where I had relationships. And I knew that, um, I could work, they know me and trust me well enough as a parent who's present and vocal and supportive that if I don't get this absolutely right on my first shot at this, there's grace for me there. And even though they are a high resource school comparatively within the district, they still don't have everything they need. Their JV squad also does not have sports uniforms right now. They don't have money to feed the students in between games after school. So these kids are at school at 7:20, staying till sometimes 10, 11 o'clock at night with one meal at 10:30 in the morning. And then, asking parents or eating food out of vending machines. And so things like that are going on. Um, and I also wanted to create some college experiences for them. So I'm planning a trip to UMKC women's basketball game, and I'm also planning a trip to Harris Stowe State University in St. Louis, Missouri. I wanted to take them to an HBCU and also a community college just to show them the breadth of opportunity that's available. Because for me, this is about um, health equity and college access. And so uh, the health equity is more of a long-term thing that I want to start implementing next year, but I thought the college access was something that we could give them tangible outcomes right now. So I've talked to the college coach, the women's college coach, Coach Mora at Harris Stowe State University, and we've planned for them to do a meet and greet, for them to attend a practice, attend and participate in a collegiate women's basketball practice. And it is a D1 institution, actually, which I was actually pretty surprised about. But and then the students are going to give them a campus tour and have lunch on campus. And so just kind of introducing them, helping them see themselves as someone who's in college and what it takes, and how do I build relationships and getting to answer questions and things like that. So that's where I am now. So far, I have been beating the pavement for 3 or 4 months in fundraising, and I have raised $1,000. A lot of funders have shown like interest, but for whatever reason, and you all may know this better than me, funders don't like to be the first funder. That's what I have learned. Nobody wants to write that first check. And so I'm really looking for seed money and somebody who gets it enough and believes in it enough, who can just help me get it going, and get videos and pictures and data from a small cohort so that we can then begin to capacity build and help more students. That's my spiel. Do y'all have any questions?
Sorry, Christine, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I was thinking first when she's, thank you for sharing first. Yeah, that's amazing. You are right on with what you saw, and just the needs it sounds unbelievable, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Got an email about basketballs even today. Like, we have this thing in KC Mo, and we realized we don't have any basketballs for the kids. I'm like, it's Saturday? I was like, oh, yeah. So I'm right there. So I guess my question, Katie, I know that the schools sector focuses on 3 strategies. And so when implementation projects are brought to the table, we explore like if there's alignment. And I'm trying to think, I know that the 3 strategies, one is the comprehensive school physical activity plan is one of the focuses. And so this is after school physical activity. So there might be alignment there. Another one is professional development, which doesn't necessarily apply for teachers. And then the third one is policies supporting physical activity. And so this, I mean, whether it leads to policy, it's probably not necessarily about policy. So the strongest strategy that I think would fit is this component of after school sports, providing physical activity opportunities for more kids.
Yeah.
So in terms of questions, I'm thinking if someone else has a question.
I guess my question, it's not more about what you're doing, just kind of what Christine had pointed out. Our applications, we can't just write, we can't help directly and write a check for funding. It is more of like a project application, and you would have to support how of what you're doing does align with our 3 strategies, or at least one of them, one of our strategies. And that's kind of how that works. But I guess what I was more wondering or going to say is that even if it doesn't work out with us, we help provide and we can connect you to other resources. So like, have you reached out to Win for KC yet? I know that they do they've got a lot of programs and opportunities, and if you don't have a contact, happy to connect you with somebody there. There's a few different grant opportunities. Aspen Institute, actually, that state of play report. Yeah, that was us. That was our sports sector that funded it. And they recently had a grant opportunity for a high school student to do an advocacy project. And that was, yeah. The deadline was unfortunately December 1st, but I know that they do those things constantly throughout the year. So we can absolutely provide you with resources to grants and stuff like that. My question that I keep going around to is, have you heard of Move More, Get More? Because they were at Lincoln Middle or Lincoln Preparatory Middle School. Okay.
So my son actually participated in that.
And I used to help out with that. I was wondering if they were still doing it because I
I was
know
like, why does that sound familiar? That's
yeah.
why.
Last I heard they were still doing it, but I wasn't sure if they were still handing out equipment like they used to. So we used to do equipment to all of the students, and then after school snacks prior to our physical activities that we did. So I just wasn't sure if there was a potential partnership with that program still. And then another thing, you had mentioned how Under Armour had donated to the school. Like, we talk about that so often in our sports sector because we really want that for Kansas City, especially after releasing our state of play report. And we're having an issue with getting people to buy in to do that. Our biggest connection is Garmin right now, and we're hoping maybe we can work with them to maybe do something similar. Another thing that we're working toward are equipment donations. So we've realized a need for that. Not just for like sport organizations, our sport organizations that provide programming, but schools themselves lack, like you said, equipment. So we're trying to figure out how we can establish a larger rather than like a one-off event for equipment donations, we want to like have an organization come in and do that consistently around Kansas City. So we are trying to do that. One organization that has been incredible at getting that up and going is called Leveling the Playing Field. And so we recently met with them. The problem is it comes down to funding. So just a little bit like, yeah, what you're saying, like we see that there is this need, and these are the things that we've been working on and where we're at. Yeah. Kelly, am I missing anything?
I was just gonna say, one, as a fellow Lincoln kid, it's kind of crazy because when I was like in middle school, I was a soccer player, but we didn't have a women's soccer team at the time. And then my brother came along 5 years later, and they finally like had a couple more teams, and like it's just even from back then to now, there's like a dramatic, at least improvement, just incremental. And then I was gonna ask, I think back in your email, and correct me if I'm misremembering this, you also mentioned something about policy around coaching for coaches from outside the school district. Was that something?
So that is something that Sharewaves, Bill Brandmeier's organization does. My organization doesn't do that, but I do think that's 110% necessary, especially in the Kansas City Public School District, because they require that all their coaches also be teachers. It's like a
Yeah.
requirement, and
Yeah.
it really limits what, who can be a coach, and sometimes it hinders people who might be a better coach, but they are not interested in being a teacher. And so, if I'm an English teacher and I'm just happen to be the swim coach, I need training.
Yeah.
This is great that I get this extra stipend, and I'm not coming for anybody who signed up and was not, equipped in that particular sport. But even that is like kind of like some policies that I think, at least if they're going to stick by it, and I'm not trying to change anything they're doing, that the coaches training is so important in order to help the kids in the district be competitive.
Because I thought that, Christine, you had some insight into that, and maybe that's also something our group could, I don't know if like advocate for, help with policy change stuff. Because I don't know, Christine, if you wanted to talk about it. I just remember you had some insight.
Yeah, I think there are like our district has Rule 10 coaches, so great coaches that are outside the district and not a teacher are allowed to coach in KCK. So sounds like Casey Mo may not have Rule 10 coaches. Um,
Yeah.
like they have to be a teacher. That's interesting. I could check just on the director of athletics for our district, because we're working with Casey Mo on a couple sports like potential partnerships. Just I'll just make a note, just because I think we're meeting next Wednesday. I don't know the history of why they wouldn't allow Rule 10 coaches.
What I was told is that they want to be as academically centric as possible, and that somehow that, centers the focus on their achievement, their grades and their academics, and keeps that in its proper priority.
I mean, I can see that from an in-building perspective, because I did pass the basketball coach at a high school yesterday, and he was at a lunch table and he had all these cell phones laid out, and I was like, you go. He said he collected them all in the morning for the kids, because if they can't keep their grades up, they don't get to play. They're not eligible. So, and I've been a coach outside a different district, and it was really hard. Like I wasn't teaching at the time. It was just really hard to like stay connected to my team of girls. So I guess I understand like why, but I can ask like to see if there's movement towards, because if it's set up properly, I think there's a need. When you compare, the flip side is a coach who is a teacher and they have no background, and this team has nobody, and they're like, I'll just do it, I'll help, but it's not growing the program, to have someone without that coaching background. And one more thing, I popped a link into the chat. I really am trying to find last month's Peaceful Playgrounds. I know it sounds like the grant funding is all for school gardens and playgrounds, but I've seen come through in the last few months some really big grants, and it named PE, health, after school sports. And I think that what you're looking for, or I think it would fall under that. I was trying to set up an account a couple months ago to try to go through the process, but it needed like all this financial information for my organization. And I know we have maybe a district grant writer, so I got kind of like stopped because I just couldn't proceed without some of those things. But you might be able to fill it out completely. It looks like Peaceful Playgrounds, the fourth Monday, if you subscribe to their newsletter, the fourth Monday of the month is their grants newsletter. And the link in there should open up to a page, 15 plus organizations. And it might be none of them are potential, but two. So it's just something that throughout the year, I try to look at. And if I find the one I was trying to give to the schools sector for our next newsletter, I will also get your contact and send it to you, because it was in the millions. It was like 10 to 15 million, whatever it was. But PE, health, and after school sports were all keywords. And that's what I was like, that's what we need.
That's exactly what we need.
So
Yeah.
Funding is a big.
I want to go back to hold on, I'm looking for it. Oh, in my notes. I think Katie, I think you said win for KC. I just don't know anybody over there, but if you all know somebody that I could talk to or connect with, I would be so grateful for a connection.
Yeah, absolutely. I will make a note, and because I know I just spoke with somebody who was new like about a month ago, but previously we've worked with them on a couple different projects. So let me pull up my contacts and I'll get back to you on that one.
Cool. Cool.
I just want to clarify, is it WIN or KC? Because I'm just trying to look up in our system, because I don't know if we might have worked with them before on something, and I just wanted to see if we have WIN KC. Is that the same thing?
WINKC.
It is WIN, WIN for KC.
Or
And this is not the right page, but I'm just gonna pull up the page I was on.
You guys might have worked with them. Maybe they do like summer camps for
that's where,
kids, for
yeah,
girls.
yeah, that was before my time when I started. I think it was a summer camp, and then they also like donated helmets to us.
Yeah.
So that's like what we know. I can pick our director of education's brain and see if she knows of anybody that I can help connect you with, Lene.
And their luncheon,
Colin.
and their luncheon next year, which it's like, I think one of the largest in the world celebrating women's sport, or not world, but in the US celebrating women's sports. The speaker is Caitlin Clark this year. So if you're interested in basketball, she will be there speaking. So,
I mean, who doesn't want to see Caitlin Clark?
right? Yeah, and they typically all like the regional state competitors in high school sports across Kansas and Missouri, in like the Kansas City area, they all get honored there. So they get to like walk across the stage as a team. So I think that would be right up your alley.
Okay, I'm copying this link and emailing it to myself. Yeah. Like,
Can you do me a favor and put your email in the chat, just in case if I do get that contact information for you, that I can send that to you.
I'd love
I
to.
can pick my director of education's brain after this.
Okay. I am like so grateful to all of you. I am just a little bit overwhelmed. I feel like with this coalition, I have found my tribe, because I talk to people all the time and they're like, oh, we don't support sports. And I'm like, really, this is about health and education. Like you're hyper focusing on a conduit and not the outcome. And not having to just beat my chest to explain that is refreshing.
And then another thing that came into my mind, I'm trying to see like how Bike Casey can fit into all this. I know we're kind of doing our own thing. The only thing that comes to mind is we actually, I believe he's a new board member of ours, and he is actually an attorney for KCPS. And I don't know how much he's directly involved in policy work or things like that. But I could always like get his name and contact information for you, and just if you want to pick his brain, if he responds, if he doesn't, you know, or he could just like steer you maybe in the right direction to maybe talk to somebody, because our office is actually right near the Kansas City Board of Education.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're just a few doors down, so he's really cool and we know him really well, so hopefully like I could maybe connect you guys as well. So I'm just trying to see how I will be able to connect you to the right people. And
Sure.
how we can help.
Yeah, what as much help as we can get, I'm like all for that.
Perfect.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. And I'm gonna write down her email right now.
So I don't know, have you heard of MOCAN?
The basketball program?
No. Oh, Kelly, what's the acronym stand for? Missouri College and, nope, that's not it. Missouri
Coalition.
Council
I always
for
have to look it up.
Nutrition. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it
so-
is Missouri Council for Activity and Nutrition. They actually have a schools sector that meets monthly as well. And they are specifically focused on schools in Missouri. So Kelly and I have attended those meetings previously. They're finalizing their strategic plan for 2025, but they'll start meeting again next month, and you just have to go. The site I sent you, they've got different, by the way, different sector groups too. So they have like a physical activity sector group as well, but schools specifically, they might have some resources and connections on the Missouri side that we don't. So
Okay.
yeah, that's another really good coalition to join.
Great. I'm on it. I am on it.
And I added, it's a website that goes to Kellogg. The end of it says grant seekers.
Oh, okay. I see it now.
And that was one that I just previewed from the previous website with the grant listings. That sounded, I'm not sure what kind of process it is, but it sounds like they have renewable generational grants in multiple states.
Okay. This is gold. Because I had applied to all the grants that I could find and I just kind of hit a wall. So this is opening more opportunities up, and this is great.
Another, I guess I could probably email you separately. Another contact, it doesn't necessarily tie to grant funding, but it's an interesting connection for your girls team if you have any juniors or seniors. Wishing is an organization that stands for Women in Sports, helping the next generation. And it's a nonprofit organization that it's in its second year. I think it piloted last year. It's in its second year, and it invites juniors and seniors to be a part of it. It's like a year-long commitment, but they set them up during the school year to mentor with a woman in the sports industry, in a sports career.
Wow.
Not necessarily an athlete, but there's so many roles in sports.
Yeah.
And the problem they found was women were underrepresented, and her PowerPoint is really neat. I think I would love to bring sports sector and school sector together to have her come and be a guest. But I can give you her contact. She's actually local in Kansas City, even though it's a nationwide program. And that might even just be an additional opportunity that your students, that that you can bring to Lincoln Prep, or I think they have students in North Kansas City. Our district has not kind of jumped in yet, but it's growing, and great impact, great mentoring and leadership model for junior and senior girls.
I would love that. That sounds great. And I mean, when you talk about all of these issues, it just gets exacerbated when you account for women. Yeah, it's just like more
Yeah.
so. Wishing. I got it.
I also put the website in the chat.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Took a minute to find. They don't have it on their Instagram. It's on their LinkedIn page.
And I'll add the, I'm sure it's also from their homepage, but the information at wishingmentors.com. If you have any interest in the school, like having a presentation from them, well, they'll come and say, here's the problem, here's what we're doing, here's what we can offer you. It's a great PowerPoint that they just run through, and that's kind of like the informational email address that they're pretty responsive.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I like that their quote is leveling the playing field for all women. So good stuff.
So in terms of next steps, what would you all recommend I do?
I mean, if you, Katie, is there a link to the, I guess it's not an implementation project. So I was going to say we can give you the application, but it is an implementation project design. So I
When
don't
you say
know.
implementation project, what do you mean by that?
So it's been like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe this either. So the best thing I can think of is that it is it doesn't have to be a program or anything. It's kind of a project that addresses multiple systems, aligns with more than one sector group, and so it's multi-sectoral. Oh my goodness, what are the other criteria? I know it's got next steps, clear next steps. Let me pull it up. Let's pull it up and we can walk through it, because what
Yeah,
I was going
that
to
would
do is
help.
I was going to email it to you along with the instructions
Oh,
and some
okay.
example applications that have been
Oh.
approved of. So like we have, so like Christine did one for a pilot programming for swimming lessons for second graders in KCK public schools. It was originally for 2 schools. Well, then, what was it? Was it the board of directors, Christine, who were like,
It was YMCA. They found an additional, they added schools
was
with their
they-
grant, and
yeah.
then the superintendent added schools. So it ended up funding for
Yeah.
6 schools.
instead of just 2 because
Yeah.
of getting it started through applying for funds?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one that has happened. The sports sector, as you know, they did the state of play report. That was their project and they spent all their funding on that. They did have to have additional funding. But that's another story. I'm trying to think of some other projects.
In the infrastructure group, they did pre and post counts for 2 different changes, like on Cleaver, the bike
Oh.
lanes. And so we did pre and post counts for bike and pedestrian counts. And then there's one over at like on Mission that they are doing in that same project. So then the like evaluation and data presentation all come with that project. So not all of them are like programmatic in nature, but the goal is kind of, I think in general, if it is on like more programmatic side, is like it has longevity, like it's a pilot or it's something that's looking to be able to be something, you know, sustainable for the future, not necessarily with our funds, but you know,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
like the swim pilot, that was to look at it because our goal is to reach every second grader in Wyandotte County. And
Yeah.
so it was just like, let's use this to see what it looks like. And then we would be working towards renewable funding out there somewhere.
Mhm.
So, or I think early childhood had professional development,
Yeah.
someone come in.
Yeah, Diane
Um,
Kraft
mhm.
came in, gave everyone it was like a training book that was provided as part of the implementation funding. And then Dr. Diane Kraft came in and did a like a 6 hour, was it Kelly? Like 6, 8 hour training
I think
series.
it was 6 hours
Six. I thought I was like, I don't think it was
and
8.
they
So
got
6.
clock hours for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they got clock hours. So, and then we also did Go Knapsack, is a report
Hmm.
for Kansas and Missouri on early childcare settings that utilized Go Knapsack. That was another project we funded through the early child care sector. So just some examples, but what I will do, like I said, is I will send you ones that have been funded, probably just like 3 examples so you get an idea, each in a different format. Some of them are like really basic. So we have a Just Walk program, and that, I mean, that one we've funded like 3 Just Walk programs. So, um, so yeah,
Okay.
I think you
Got it.
described that so much better than I could have.
You're good. It's so wide, you know, like
Yeah.
so many options. So
Lene, this doesn't correlate exactly with like Advantage at all, but it does with like Lincoln Prep. I coach a dance team that competes in Missouri. I will say I won't lie, it's a private, very privileged school. But we got to go to dance camp with Lincoln Prep's dance team. And so I got to meet their coaches and we got to hear their kind of a lot of things you're talking about, funding, getting motivation for more girls to join the team. They have a team of 3, which good for those girls and those coaches because they're going and they want to build the team really, really bad, but it's really difficult. But with that, they had mentioned that they wanted a buddy team to kind of help and kind of give them a way to navigate competitions and things like that, because it's really, really difficult for them to be competitive. I had mentioned it to her at camp, but I think we had been both kind of shy about giving or sharing information. I don't know if you know their coaches, but obviously this is on a very small scale. It would be me helping their dance
find
team
out.
prep. But if you know them and you could like help get us in contact, because meeting you today has motivated me to like, I should have been more maybe in their face about like, hey, no, for real, like I would help. So yeah.
Yeah, the athletic director is my friend, so I'm sure
Okay.
we can work that out. She was my
Okay.
friend long before she was the athletic director.
Okay, awesome.
So
I was
say-
looking on their website and I can't find information for the dance team coaches.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe you.
so so I think that would be awesome. I do all of the fundraising for our team and I found a lot of success this year with some things that our team has done. So even if I could like pass that information along to their coaches,
I'd be interested in that information
yeah,
too.
or for other teams, because I mean, it's anybody could use the different types of businesses that like we've worked with in the area, that we found success at. So yeah, that's on a small scale, but I feel like that's something that I could help with if you and I could get in contact, and if I could get in contact with their coaches, that would be awesome.
Can you please send me an email?
Yes, I wrote down your email, so I can
Okay.
definitely do that. Yeah.
And yes, if there's anything I can do to be helpful, like honestly, I'm at a point where I really just want to make awareness about this issue and be a part of the solution. I'm not stingy. I'm not trying to, if the more all of us do, the more kids get the support and resources and opportunities. So um I've even just been thinking like about, strategy, and this work here is so important. And I don't know what we could do to do more, but I don't have to be the director or see, I don't care about titles and stuff. You have to say that because you have an organization, but I'm really just like, I'd be happier if there was a big organization in place and this was just making measurable progress to make sure these doors are held open for
Mhm.
the most disadvantaged and the most at-risk populations of students. Like that's really all I care about. So
Well, I think what you're doing is awesome. It motivates me a lot. Definitely see a need for it. Sports are super important, and I see how it affects our youth a lot. So, I mean, I think that's great.
thank you.
Just
Yeah.
points how we need that coalition for sports equity,
Yes.
like years ago.
Like, yeah, like 10 years ago when, yeah. Yeah, it's really, I blame the privatization of youth sports. That has killed everything. It really has. It's just made a mess of things, but that's not going away anytime soon. So, well, I thank you all so much for your time and your help, all the resources that you've given me, the information, and just your openness. This has been so refreshing. I have gotten a lot of, we like this idea, we hear you, but not right now, or apply next year when you have more under your belt kind of thing. And so I'm so energized by this. This is giving me like a second wind.
I think we're all in the trenches with you, so we're all doing work with kids in schools and seeing what you're seeing firsthand. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and thank you all for the great work that you're doing in the community. It's so important.
Definitely. Well, I know we only have 4 minutes left, and I was trying to pull up the agenda. I'm almost done writing my email. So I don't think we have time to go through our re-engagement survey right now. But Christine, maybe I can send you the results. We've only had 4 people fill it out. It's the end of the year. I need to send a reminder. Shout out to Nolan.
it
I know
worth-
you were one of them.
I hope you have one for me. But maybe it didn't get. The other question about that, I can send it out to the teams I support. I just know that they're going to be like, well, I'm not a member. Like the questions about like what makes me stay or go. And so would you encourage
Yeah.
people that are part of schools, but not a member yet to still fill it out and just
Because
fill out
we
what they
have that,
can?
recommendation for
Yeah.
contacts so that we can
Yes.
start inviting people and connecting them with each other. So that's
Perfect.
kind of the whole
That's what I
point. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you need that link again, or do you have the original email?
Oh, I think I have it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we will postpone on that one. As a reminder, we are still looking for a new sector co-lead. So we typically have 2 leads in our sector groups. There does come being a sector lead, it does come with a stipend. It is $2,000, and we ask that you commit to at least 6 months. So if you know of anybody, let us know. Besides
like,
that, does
are you looking for a particular kind of person or?
somebody who has experience in school settings and can help us push the work forward. So, you've met Christine. Christine works in schools in Wyandotte County, but we don't have anybody representing Missouri, so that's kind of one of our goals. Bill, sports sector. Bill represents, he's one of our co-leads for the sports sector. So, he deals with youth sports. So that's, I guess, like, yeah, as long as you have an understanding of the importance of healthy lifestyle behaviors and you work in schools and can help us push the work of the school sector forward, that is kind of, as from what I understand, our requirement. Yeah. But
Well,
besides, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if I qualify, but it's right up my alley in terms of things that I care about. And my background is in education. Well, my master's degree is in higher education, but it's to create college access was my focus. So I worked a lot with high school students, which is how I got involved in all of this. I was like, this is college access and we need more of this. But anyway, but like I'm totally okay if you want someone who works in schools, I'm happy to recommend other people also.
We can also talk if you want, and maybe after this meeting and see if perhaps you would be a good fit. Usually from when so I've been a part of the KCPA plan or the Kansas City Kansas City Healthy Lifestyle Collaborative for a little over 2 years, and a lot of our sector leads were already established. So I've only ever invited like maybe 2 other sector leads, and they were based off of recommendations and awareness of their background. So let me ask our program director how it would work specifically. That's okay. I feel like that I probably should do that first. Okay.
But if they're like, we want somebody who actually works in the schools, then I still would be happy to help find someone.
No, that would be amazing. Yeah.
I
Okay.
love that you're on the Kansas City, Missouri side. So
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
'cause that's what I'm hoping to find, to bridge, like just bring the two big areas together. Like, so.
Yeah.
I know it is 2 o'clock. I don't know if everyone has a few minutes. If you have anything else you'd want to share, looking at you, Nolan and Kat. Do you guys have anything coming up you want to let everyone know about?
Not too much. I mean, for us, it's just a lot of our normal programming. Right now, we're just getting all of our schools schedules drafted and everything for our pedestrian and bike safety programs that are gonna be continuing in the spring, starting, I believe it's the 3rd week of January, we're gonna be back at schools indoors, cause it's gonna be cold, starting out. So yeah, that's just kind of our normal stuff. Yeah, not really actually too much to talk about, but we actually have another meeting at 2, so I might have to say
That's
that.
Yeah, that's okay. I saw your guys' faces earlier and I was like, I want to make sure we're not missing anything. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Nice
Bye,
meeting you,
guys.
Lene.
Thank you.
Nice meeting all of you, and I can't wait to see you again.
Yes.
Yeah.